Novak Djokovic will kickstart his 2025 Grand Slam campaign over the weekend. The quest to end a slamless 2024 starts in Melbourne. And it is at a slam that has given Djokovic nightmares over the last few years at least. And just as he landed in Australia, it looks like he's been haunted by the ghosts of Melbourne. Before he takes the court in his first encounter, Djokovic has unlocked a Pandora's box, saying he was poisoned in this very city back in 2022. Djokovic and Australia have a love-hate relationship. We know that by now. This is the arena where the Serb has ironically won the most number of titles, the iconic Rod Laver Arena. Fans love him and probably don't as much too. But the night with Novak was most attended. It was a sold-out event which saw fans from all over the world coming in to see the former world number one try and overcome his demons.
Well, he's always been my lifetime idol and I've always loved him.
Yeah, he's just the best.
Novak, we love you, Novak. Volimate Novak.
The love, the adulation, and all the cheers that you're seeing here, of course, is from a lot of his own people. But that will not be able to wipe out what Djokovic experienced back in 2022. He was denied permission to participate in the Australian Open that year. The Serb had his visa cancelled and was eventually kicked out of the country. This over his refusal to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, after so many years, Djokovic has finally opened up about that episode. In an interview, he claimed that he was poisoned before deportation.
I was fed some food that poisoned me. I had discoveries when I came back to Serbia. I never told this to anybody publicly. I had a high level of heavy metal. I had lead, a very high level of lead and mercury.
Sounds disturbing, but the Serb has finally spoken on the matter after 3 years. So why the silence and why keeping quiet for so long? Maybe it was coming back here after a 2024 that has been very difficult for the Serb. The emotional baggage of starting the year here again probably got him back to where things had been dark in 2022. Now, it has been a very rare 2024 for Novak Djokovic. He ended the year without a Grand Slam title, parted ways with his longtime coach Goran Ivanisevic, got injured along the way, had to undergo surgery to his knee. Not a pretty year at all. In fact, the only bright spark was an Olympic gold. So coming back here after a significantly traumatic year only opened his old wounds up.
The last couple of times that I landed in Australia to go through passport control and immigration, I had a bit of trauma from 3 years ago. The person checking my passport, are they going to take me, detain me again, or let me go? I must admit, I have that feeling.
The Aussie crowd has been a little warm in their welcome so far at least. There has been a lot of excitement over Djokovic's campaign because in his box will be another star player who's shared some memorable moments at these very courts here. Andy Murray's probably added that ammunition for Djokovic to armor him up for the year to come.
Side of the net is actually great for a change because he's been one of my greatest rivals. At the beginning, it was a bit of a strange feeling to be able to share the insights with him. Not just about the game, but about how I feel about life in general. Now all cards are open on the table.
Well, it's not just Andy Murray who seems to be in Djokovic's corner. He seems to have found a new supporter in local boy Nick Kyros. The Aussie tennis star recently returned to the sport after a 2-year break, and he did that by playing doubles alongside Djokovic at Brisbane. And that partnership is now converting into one of mutual admiration. So much so that Kyros has backed Novak over his own country in the whole poisoning episode.
I haven't spoken to him. I didn't even know that, but I'll stand on. We treated him like that's for sure. We shouldn't have done that.
On the face of it, it seems like pockets of Australia, the crowd at least, seems to be backing the Serb for now. After the horrific 2022 year, that campaign, the love from fans, support from some of his rivals, and the possibility of a nostalgic 11th Australian Open title has all made it quite an emotional comeback for Djokovic. But will this be enough really for him to regain lost ground and finally get that elusive Grand Slam title? the overwhelming last few days, flying back here, and of course the big moment, walking right back onto the Rod Laver Arena, is all going to get very sentimental. Yes, he won the Australian Open in 2023, but that year seemed, and of course it was a year after the whole deportation drama, but that particular year was all about redemption. He probably hadn't had the time to reflect on the details of what happened to him and the trauma that it had cost him. Had not yet opened up about the tough mental battles that he had had to endure. Today he stands in Australia in front of an Aussie crowd, and they can be quite partisan as well, having accused the country of poisoning him. The spotlight is definitely on him. The whole world will be watching. Can he overcome this mental barrier to go where no one has gone before?
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.